Hi, this is Dave with Fitness Together, bringing you 5 fat loss tips to take into 2016. Starting with number 1, make small changes which have the greatest impact over time rather than very large changes which are often hard to stick with. So, making 2 or 3 small changes, which might be something as simple as adding protein to each of your main meals, drinking more water, adding exercise to your weekly schedule, are small changes that over time are going to have a much greater impact rather than making loads of big changes which we know are difficult to stick with and often result in failure. It's much more sustainable, it's easier, and it's more enjoyable to make small changes that you can be really successful with. So tip number 1 is to make small changes that have great impact. Tip number 2 is to start exercising. Exercise and movement is the easiest way to create a negative energy balance, which is key for weight loss and fat loss. It doesn't even matter what exercises you necessarily do. We actually prefer you do exercises that are enjoyable because, again, they're going to be more sustainable and you're much more likely to get better fat loss results by sticking with something that you enjoy. We do encourage weightlifting, we encourage jogging and running, but really it's entirely up to you. Maybe you like to do classes, maybe going for a hike every weekend is the best option for you. But again, the key is to make it sustainable, so that usually includes exercises that you enjoy the most. Tip number 3 is to include more single ingredient foods in your meals. So as the name suggests, foods that have one ingredient. So things like meat and fish, eggs, fruits, vegetables, all just single ingredients, rather than your heavily processed and refined foods like your microwavable meals, your processed cereals, etc. Aim to have your single ingredient foods make up the majority of your meals, and you're going to be well on your way to great fat loss results. Tip number 4 is to track your progress. It's really important that you are able to see where you were and where you are now. So we encourage that you take photos on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, use things like the scale and measurements. You're going to be able to feel the changes in your clothes and in your energy levels, but having the numbers to support it is very rewarding when you look back on all your hard work. So tip number 4 is to track your progress. And finally, tip number 5 is to plan ahead. Planning is going to be key for your success with both your nutrition and your exercise. If you're very busy, if you have a busy home life, a busy work schedule, it may be that you have to schedule exercise into your week. Likewise, time to prep meals, to have an idea about what your meals are going to look like for the week. Planning ahead is always going to give you an advantage, and you're far more likely to follow through on healthy meals you've planned. So tip number 5 and our final tip is to plan ahead both your nutrition and your exercise.